All right, good morning. You're welcome to Real Estate Inside here at Adbond Harvest and Homes. And today we're going to be talking about considerations in real estate investment. And I said, I think 2-3 weeks ago, we had a training about African Nigerian real estate markets. And we target Nigeria, the Nigerian African real estate market at your palm. Because now, there's now an avenue where you can monitor your assets, you can monitor your portfolio, and Adbond is saying we want to go borderless. We want to have global identity, and then we also have customers in different parts of the world. And what all these things is going to do for us in helping customers to make very good real estate investment decision is to have a holistic consideration in different parts of African country or even outside the world, and the metrics that you can use to make your decisions. So just in less than 15-20 minutes, you will be able to gain value out of this. So during the course of the weekend, we're doing our 45 days make sale challenge, and from the quotes from the several team member of Adbond, somebody posts this and says, real estate is where all the wealth of the world meets. Said, real estate is where all the wealth of the world meets. And if you take a look at it, there is nothing that is not happening inside real estate. Everything is happening, at least on land, because that's where it's attached to, and we'll see the definition. What is real estate? Real estate is property that consists of land and any permanent improvements attached to it, such as building and other structures, based on the context of this training. So now, what is real estate investment? Real estate investment is the purchase, ownership, management, rental, or sale of real estate to generate income or profit. It involves buying properties like residential homes, commercial buildings, or land to generate return through rental income or property appreciation. This definition is from Google Gemini definition, and is very valid. Number one is you are purchasing something tangible, something with an address, and can I make rent from it? Can I sell it to get profit from it? Is it classified to residential home or commercial, where people go to do their day-to-day businesses and activity? Is it just land that I rent out that is generating a rental earning for me, just like what Adbond is doing for part of the villa owners that want their land to be on lease, that is already ongoing with Casa Valley right now. So now, what are the considerations in real estate investment decision that one should holistically pay attention to before you start saying, oh, I want to own property in Ghana, or I want to own property in Kigali, which I know that several Nigerians have started having property in the US, and they don't even have visa. But you just trust the brand that is helping you to manage the assets. And also, we'll start seeing where people will say, oh, I want to have property in the UK, but you believe that you have earning because you make consideration of some basic facts before you make that decision. So number one is, what is the investment goal? Because if you look at Adbond, you realize that purpose. Once the purpose is clearly defined, you won't have an issue. Number one is, you can say, is it for income generation? Oh, focusing on rental yield and consistent cash flow. If that is the purpose, a definition of property should serve that motive, just like what we have in Lekki Alpha Prime. Lekki Alpha Prime can make this decision. Potential apartments at my country, Omogun, in less than 36 months, they will start making these decisions as well. The next one is saying capital appreciation. Are you targeting markets with strong growth potential? Lekki can do this as well. Alpha Prime can do this as well. Are you considering diversification in terms of hedge against inflation or balance a portfolio with a real estate asset? Maybe you have some liquidity that you preserve or you trade in your treasury account, and you're looking at, oh, I think this can actually keep an asset for me, and maybe in the next 2-3 years I can liquidate that asset and use it to do, instead of allow inflation to deal with this money in treasury. So the last one says, is it for personal use? So once you determine this, when I live at Arepo like maybe 3 years ago, and then recently I'm living at Ikeja, something makes that decision. It's not like maybe I just want to give millions to the landlord in Ikeja, but I realize that, oh, I think it's now the best time that maybe if you have clients that want to see you, like an August visitor, and the conversation is very, very important, you won't have to keep them waiting, since we call them villa owner, for too long to come and attend to them. Number 2 is financial analysis. So number 1 is, if you look at purchase price versus market value, this is where you're going to need valuers like Ms. Joy Adebayo to help you to confirm the price I'm about to pay. Does it commensurate with the market value of this asset I'm about to purchase? So that is number 1. Number 2 is cash flow. They need to help you to do research study of what is the potential inflow that can come out of this investment I'm about to invest my money into. Number 3 is, what is the capital rate that I can earn annually or every month, because that's where you hear the word ROI from this thing I'm about to invest my money into. And then the last one is financing. Financing is, am I paying all the money 100% by my own personal savings? Am I doing 20 or 10% contribution equity, where a bank mortgage system can help me to finance the rest? What is the return am I paying back to this bank? How many years am I going to? You have to make all these decisions, and these are considerations that we're actually talking about, that we at the Adborn Harvest and Home need to assist most of our villa owners to make very good decisions. Number 3 is location factor, which we are all familiar with this. Location factor in terms of economic fundamentals, job growth, population trend, industry mix. You will not, let's say for example, your office is at Ikeja. You won't go and rent a house at our advice, you understand? You should not do that. Don't go and rent like duplex in Songo. Why not do 2-bedroom apartments in Ogba or Agege? That is very close, because your health too is very, very important to this job and is critical. And if you look at industry mix, do you want to be living in an environment where pollution will be everywhere, and then you'll be inhaling all those things because you want to cut your rent short as well? So all these things are something that we have to put into consideration. Neighborhood quality, schools for your children, crime rates, the kind of amenities, transportation, good road network for ease of transportation are something that one will put into consideration for location factor. Future development, planned infrastructure, zoning changes or revitalization, because there are some locations that they are already depreciating down, that needs to be revitalized, that need to go through redevelopment again. Then the last one says supply and demand, vacancy rates, rental competition. You have to help your villa owners to pay attention to vacancy rates and rental competition. Let's say for example, a customer want to invest and you're telling them to come and buy a property of 60-something million in Bejuleki, down, maybe 2-bedroom bungalow, no problem, and their purpose is to earn rental income. Will it be visible? No, as of today. But if, let's say, for the purpose of just investing to keep, yes, as of today. So these are part of the things that in our advisory system that we need to put into consideration before we push it out to villa owners. So number 4 is property type. We have residential, single family houses, condos, multi-family units, duplex, semi-detached, terraces are something that we can always put into consideration, since we are even majoring more in bond home ownership, where we can consider like, oh, if 4 of you have 150 square meter, why not do two bedroom with BQ? Oh, if 3 of you have 200 square meter, why not do terraces? Because with 200 square meter, you can easily do 3 terraces conveniently on your plot of land, and you guys can have access to 2 car parks in your flats. So with that, you've helped them to make a very good decision. Commercial properties, office, rentals, industrial, mixed use. We have to also pay attention to that for the sake of villa owners who are considering to maybe to own filling stations, maybe to own schools, maybe to own like a shopping mall, hospitals. Yeah, all these are something that is even there, like special properties like hospital, healthcare, student housing, like hostels, and also a bit of REITs that one can also advise villa owners to put their money into. New construction versus existing, maintenance cost versus development. You know, if we take a look at, let's say I'm going to build a 12 unit block of flats, there is always a need for consideration of what will sustain this building. That let's say if I finish it today, what will make it look new till the next 10 years? What will be the cost? It's also something that one should also put into consideration, alongside as we are pushing out bond rental earning for the next 10 years. Any issue?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So new construction versus existing building, maintenance costs versus development. So we have to also pay attention to the idea that, let's say for example, we're saying villa owners should buy an apartment and they can earn rental earning for the next 10 years. We have to put consideration of the cost that will maintain that property to look like the way it is now in the next 10 years. And these are culture that they have abroad, that if they will furnish everything, put it where you sign contract when you are leaving, it must be like this. And if any scratch come, you will repaint the entire house. These are things that has been their culture. And then also then look at, okay, let's say for example I'm buying an old building. What will be the cost to redevelop that old building? You naturally realize that to even build new building is looking much more better than to do old building and be packaging. You realize that it's only block work you have saved. You are spending the rest all over again, and you won't be able to make adjustment that is actually necessary properly. So risk management, market risk, economic downturns, interest rate charges. So these are part of the things that we should also help our customer to pay attention to, in terms of where they can have issue with the decisions in terms of government, based on the investment in terms of little fund that they have, that they also want to grow, and how they can actually grow that little that they want to put into the real estate market. Tenant and liquidity risk, vacancy, defaults or damage, and real estate can take time to sell. So now are we positioning our villa owners asset investment in location that when we call out for sale like this? And if you take a look at most of the time banks that maybe you want to collect loan and they say bring your CFO, they want CFO of location that will be easy to snap finger to snap finger and liquidate easily. So the next one is talking about legal and regulatory risk, which is the thing of zoning, rental control, landlord tenancy law of whatever environment as well. That, you know, there are some environment you hear you cannot on gen at 10 p.m. and there's no lights in that environment. How are we going to command good rent if we cannot put facility management that will enable that the dwelling of the people that want to rent this, and maybe your gen may be put on to, like, let's say 11, 12, 1 midnight. You just realize that they serve you paper all the time, sue you to court. Before you know it, you'll be forced to sell that kind of apartment. So we also have insurance coverage, fire, flood liability, and loss of income policy. So any project that we are doing in bond, like something that people have to rent and rental earning, insurance policy is something that we cannot joke with. And as in terms of housing, insurance is 100% in here, and I'm very sure that our villa owners could feel protected with that. So the next one is due diligence. Number one, inspection. One of the things that we put as a priority at Adbond Harvest and Home is that if you want to buy, we even run inspection on your behalf while you are not in Nigeria, and we ensure that it is what we serve that you will get. The video you are seeing is exactly how the property actually looks like. Title search and legal review. We said here that we engage professionals, and we mean it, where we don't want to say, because we have little knowledge of everything, we want to do everything by ourselves. We still consult people who focus on that knowledge they've been doing it for the last 15 years, for the last 20 years, and those are part of the things that could help you to make a very good, well-informed decision. So appraisal, confirm valuation accuracy. These are one of the things that the real estate property market, without good regulatory body, without regulations, you just realize that you are paying more than what the market is meant to be like. But when you have a good valuer that could help you to do market evaluation before you make buying decision, you realize that at least the price and the value should be at par. And these are part of the things that why you should consult a professional for this part under your due diligence. And these are part of the services consideration that you can get from us at Adbond Harvest and Homes. So environmental check, fire, flood liability, and loss of income. These are part of when we say history of an environment, history of a location. You know that when people want to rent an apartment at Lekki, you hear water. And when people want to when you say people should come and also buy let's say likes of property within some rural area, you hear air smell. Not even bush, they say it's bush. They will now put this thing, there is no air smell in this location that can do something that they will not like. That if I planted on my land and they come and heat it up, that will serve as a loss for me as an investor. So all this due diligence, and what we always say is that we have a very good location where they don't even like to come there. So number 7, a tax and legal consideration. Depreciation benefits, reduced taxable income. There are several means to make this happen, and these are part of the things we can do for you at Adbond Harvest and Homes through a good investment in real estate. Capital gain tax on sale, consider holding period. There are ways that, let's say for example, you buy a property for 1 and then you are selling it for 1.2. That 2 that is on it, if you flow it into a new real estate asset without pulling it out, you can actually secure a tax. But if you are pulling it out, you'll have to pay. So the next one is 1331 exchange. This is obtainable in the US, where you can defer your taxes by reinvesting your proceed back into real estate as well. And the last one is entity structure, LLC, limited liability company, trusts, or personal ownership of liability and tax planning. So these are part of the things that you have to learn. Will help you to juggle, like, okay, why not use your corporation to buy this asset? Why not use your personal name to buy this particular type of asset? So these are part of the things that we can actually also do for you in consideration of the professionals that we have here at Adbond Harvest and Homes. And you can also put all this consideration. So now, there is no investment that does not have harvest time. So now harvest time at Adbon, we see like an exit time. So in the harvest time, what people call exit time, we call it harvest time. So number one is, are you holding for cash flow? Is it long-term income stability, or is it short-time? Is it mid-time? All these things needs to be cleared. Refinancing, extract equity while retaining ownership is part of this, something that we also need to discuss. Sell, capture appreciation when market conditions are favorable, not when market is dwindling down. Then the last part says convert, repurpose or redevelop for higher value use. Let's say for example we are buying an old building, and this old building we are saying, okay, we want to renovate, we want to make it look good again, and when we renovate it, it can actually command a better rent or a better sales value. So because it can be in that two forms instead of just breaking it down. So all this exit strategy are something that we also need to discuss from the beginning before any villa owner come into play. So, and there's this part that we always say at Adbon Harvester, know when they want to buy property from, or they say, hope I'm not going to pay infrastructural fee. We now tell them, if you are not building, which is part of the discussion of exit strategy, because building is also an exit strategy, that I want to build, you will pay infrastructural fee. If I'm not building, if I want to sell, I'm not going to pay infrastructural fee. Yeah, you're not going to pay infrastructural fee. Another person that is ready to build will be the one that will actually pay it. So basic challenges, number one is unplanned infrastructural development, map plans to population ratio. One of the things that sensor does is to also not just to know the number, is to know the equilibrium to infrastructure that can sustain the number per region, per community, per environment, per state that is required. These are part of the things that we should use a population sensor to measure, and also to see where we have what we call infrastructural deficits, so that we can put all these deficits into equation. And then I don't know if you are driving on Lagos Ibadan Express Road, you see two rope that they always line on the floor, that when you climb on that road, you do jigging. So that rope is put there by these FRSC people to know the number of cars that plows the road. They need to count the number of cars that plow the road per day, and then by the time, let's say, the road gets spoiled, they can use it to know how many number of cars are passed so year, before they can now use it to project the way they can maintain the road, because road, they are shared property. And do you know that sometimes, because you are used to a certain road, you just be driving, you know that there's pothole ahead. That always happens to me, because I trust the government. I believe that the road is good, they've done their part in one way or the other. But sometimes you just like, no, something has happened, no, I didn't pay attention to that. So, and then later on you start paying. So these are part of the things that they can use that to measure. So the last one say informal settlements remain pressing issue. These are another issue that if we can plan ahead of time, like look at Black House in Chinatown, where they started building houses in remote area that you know that you cannot afford to live in the city. Move to that place, go and be living there. And that is also to expand development into other areas that we call suburb or rural upcoming zone. So my recommendation for this training, number one, is real estate wealth creation deserves a preservation plan. Real estate wealth creation deserves a preservation plan, because creation is easy. And if you look at the concept of God, that when he creates, he now say, who will help me to manage? Who will help me to do this? Who will help me to do that? And that's where the preservation comes to play. So let's see how we can assist you to not just create, but to help you put a preservation pathway alongside what we do at Adbon Harvester and Homes. Then second one, individual and corporation investment advisory history. If you want an organization to assist you in ABCD, just check the track record history where they win and plug into their wins. Then the last one, think risk before you think reward. So don't just put all your mind only at the reward. See if the risk that come with it is something you can also live with as well. So my closing quote says, there are many routes to wealth creation destination in real estate. Choose the risk that suits your desired rewards. Learning quote, wealth creation and preservation is a journey. What you cannot give out, don't invest. Let's walk the pathways with you at Hardbond on Investment Ease. Thank you for listening, and see you on another episode.